Hello and welcome to another scene set in New York by night. Don't roll it up. I actually got that the wrong way around, but we'll ignore that. The scene begins in the ever-loved bunker of Camarilla in Manhattan. Its grand depths. Sam himself has recently returned to the bunker an hour or two after Kate involved in some negotiations with her, or rather, perhaps it'd be more apt to say, negotiating with Ajax through her, as she is still a fledgling, of course, not being able to make such decisions for herself yet. Regardless, Sam has considered the event rather cordial and a refreshing change of pace, considering the less than eloquent individuals he has been dealing with as of late, and has taken pains to relax and de-stress from these events, and can be seen having a glass of whiskey within the bunker.
A familiar face. Oh, familiar wrapped face will just pop its head in and just say, Mr. Spillane, good evening. Good evening. Um, might I borrow you for a moment or two?
Of course, my elder.
Good.
Sam will rise from his seat, gulp down the
Um,
last of his whiskey.
yeah, you'll just Theodore will just make his way to his private quarters, and after a little, you will be inside, and he will just he will just gesture to a chair, and you'll just get in. Uh, he will go around. He goes over to his like the small work table where he just finishes off something. And just I'll be just a moment. Right. So I know that my client is somewhat used to living in not exactly these conditions, but something close to it. But I'm guessing most of you are ready to leave this place soon enough.
Aye, the sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
As accommodating as this location is.
hmm, well, the war seems to be going our way. And, well, not only do we know it, others know it as well.
Hmm.
I'm very happy that you were able, along with the others, to kill Emily Stevenson. She would have been a problem. It's not been dealt with now. And I believe that you have gained a more secure foothold in your own clan now that Mr. Langwood is indisposed of.
I, I apologize for what happened to your former mentee. It's a shame things couldn't have been resolved more cordially. He seems to be pinning some of the blame on Scott rather than Theodore.
Theodore doesn't say anything, just looks at him. I must commend you. You maneuver in this world like someone with at least 100 years' experience. At least. in our world, in our sect. But I will be honest and very, very frank with you, Mrs. Blake. The time of playing both sides has come to a very abrupt end. I do not care with Mr. Langwood what happens to him now. For me, he's a lost cause, which Maria, by extension or directly, has her claws in. But I will tell you this. You will decide within 24 hours which side you will be on. Mine or Maria's. If you choose her or is in any way vague enough that I find out that you are still trying to maneuver both sides, I will have to see you as an obstacle that I will have to deal with. This is a part of the game. This is a part of the confusion, the madness. I would wish we had forgone and focused on the war instead, but apparently many people want to insist on us dividing our efforts, and in that case, so be it. Do you have any questions?
There's a minute of thought from Sam. I hesitate to ask, but in what context are we talking about support here? As Maria and her child have been attempting to unsuccessfully been pinning in Ventrue into their cage for some time now. They did this at the trial as well, as I'm no doubt that you're aware.
Truly. You're correct. You are a capable individual, Mr. Spillane. And I'm not going to lie to myself to say that your voice in the future will not have weight. It of course will. But I want either your word that you will work with me to secure the city, secure the future of this city, or you will side with her once and for all. Of course, we are still sect mates, if that can even be a word or a concept. But it will mean that you are an obstacle. And obstacles I tend to want to deal with before they become a real problem.
Sam's reaction to that statement could be construed as slightly odd. He almost seems to appreciate the concept of being considered an obstacle to someone like Theodore. He's like, oh, senpai noticed me almost, sort of a reaction. But it literally lasts for. It's just kind of like a diplomatic smile, but it's also kind of you can read a little bit from it, but. My apologies for the hesitation. I'm trying to appropriately word my response.
Well, at least that I cannot fault you.
I understand your position. It's as I'm sure you've noticed, I too tend to deal with those I consider obstacles. Melda Theodore, when the city has taken any kind of, there's like some side eye as if like, is he sure he's not being listened to? Like, okay, private quarters, right? Should be fine. He kind of thinks. He almost leans in a little bit as conspiratorially. It is you that I want to see on the throne of this city. The release. I would substantially prefer you over my current patron. The trial was, to an extent, supposed to goad Maria into rash action that she did engage in. Unfortunately, I didn't account for the passivity of some of the other neonates. I thought that they would have taken the opportunity to knock down such a dubious legal claim.
It can still be used as a problem. For instance, say, Theodore just takes a couple of steps and just, well, you could have just been, I'm totally aware that you have the utmost respect for all your clanmates, and you were simply just trying to have Mr. Langwood live up to the standards of your clan. You could still feel that the, well, rather aggressive actions and the somewhat liberal interpretations of, well, one's domain, one's authorities, when one is not supported by every clan in the city, is a bit of a stretch and does show a problem when it comes to a leader's judgment.
I definitely think it can still be used to your advantage. It's
Indeed.
just a shame we couldn't get any more immediate benefit out of it and give Lady Antoinette any more maneuvering room. Although there have been attempts to cage me in onto Antoinette's side. There's a reason I engage with you so frequently. I've been trying to use the fondness your political opponents have for me to your advantage when I can.
As I said, do not think, well, it is a weird form of a compliment. You do well certain things, and, well, as useful as it can be, it is also a very, very good method of acquiring some very nasty enemies. And I do believe that however this situation will develop, you will gain some rather nasty enemies.
Most assuredly, no one survives long in this game without accruing nasty enemies.
Take it as notches on the bedpost or whatever they call it. Isn't that the American expression? Never mind. Never mind. Just be very careful what you do from now on. This is simply out of respect. It is a statement, a warning of what can happen if, well, things should backfire again. Whether or not you're, well, business with Mr. Langwood was intended to, well, goat anyone, well, whether it backfired or not, it's beyond the point. If something backfires again, it can be genuine, but for me it will not matter. I tell you this because I see you as valuable, and as a person that has deserved a place in this city, and I do not want to just throw you away and not at least give you a chance to see reason.
There's some thought from Sam. I appreciate the trust and honesty you've shown me. As such, I felt the need to return the favor. Considering the current state of the city, I most likely won't attempt to make such maneuvers again. At least not without a much more assured guarantee.
Or some sort of conference with myself before doing so.
My apologies. I should have told you in advance.
Quite
I
all
wasn't,
right.
I wasn't
plans.
actually aware that he was your mentee.
It was not public. Well, it was not something I was spreading around. Honestly, I thought the more neonates that get help in these desperate times, the better. We would stand a better chance of, well, surviving in general. But apparently, Mr. Langwood's sire and himself have clearly misjudged some things about him.
I
The man seems a little too brash for a venturer, to be honest. His behavior is odd.
He seems to be acting out of some sort of, well, a principle, not the correct one, and seems to take this act of defiance as a badge of honor rather than understanding it for what it is and the consequences that his actions have brought upon himself and yourself.
Well,
Which, considering your patronage, I find quite insulting, to be honest.
there was a reason I left fairly abruptly. Our little get together. I do not want to necessarily be openly, well, confrontational towards, well, that neonate. I'm quite certain that other people will be that for me. By the way, you met Mr. Kellogg. He just came back into the city not too long ago.
Aye, he was at the court with Critias, Elder Critias, my apologies.
Yes, that was his first. Well, honestly, that was one of the. Well, it was one of the ways I could even get him to get into town. To be honest, there's a Methuselah that the Sabak hasn't tapped, and well, that was partly the cause of convincing him to. Well, if he was near him, he would be somewhat safe. So he agreed. much to my, well, I've come to like him somewhat.
Hmm.
Still a bit stiff, my liking, but oh well.
Aye, he was definitely a valuable figure to have at the court. He also ended up reprimanding Scott. Again.
Oh, that is just, well, that is just Kellogg being Kellogg. He's not one for anomalies or variance as to plans. That bugs him quite a lot. So when he can point the finger at a person for doing so, that brings him no small amount of comfort.
Despite our differences then, I think we might get along quite well.
Well, he's fairly dependable, as far as I know, as far as, well, from what I've experienced. But well, one should always have a mental note of certain things. Now, Mr. Spillane, I am going to have to cut this this little talk short. I have certain things I had to see to. I see that Mr. The good Cratius has necessarily asked for support, but asked us for assistance looking into something. I'll see if I can have resources diverted. That, yes, I have some things I need to look into. Please, you can see yourself out.
Did he ever answer Sam's question?
What did he ask?
In what context does he mean support? As in, like, public, or because that obviously makes things very, very different. Sam's basically asking kind of what particular support he's looking for, whether it's was asking what kind of support in, like, is like practical to help you get an edge over Maria, or just like him saying, now I support you publicly, which of course Sam's going to have a very difficult time doing.
What he said was, well, he didn't necessarily specify.
Yeah. That sounds
and so, well, in that case, no, he did not answer directly. But what he did specify was the time of playing both sides is over.
Yeah, which leaves Sam very nervous because he doesn't really know what it means.
But he also did say that you have 24 hours. So
doesn't help Sam.
Maybe you can ask him again before those 24 hours are over. Maybe you can get back to him and just ask him. But for now, Theodore has other matters to attend to. He seems to be very busy.
Help Theodore. No. Sam will just looking to clarify that. Sam will say, well then, a good evening to you.
Good evening.
And Sam will leave the room. Slightly on edge.
Which is the way the ST like him.
I hate you.
Both his player and the character.
That is where we will end our scene. Thank you, FC, for STing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. God help me.